Hey guys, so what are we doing in today's video? Well, we're going to defrost the freezer. And if you want to see a better way on how to do it than this, stick around, I'll show you how. So, welcome back to our channel, Why Wait? What are we doing today? We're going to defrost the freezer. And you may be asking, why are we defrosting the freezer? Well, this is a RV freezer. And the difference between an RV freezer and a residential freezer, the main one is this is going to actually frost up on you. Now, we prefer or at least I prefer a RV fridge and freezer just for the fact that you can also run it on propane as well as electric. Now, we haven't been doing that much boondocking, but if you ever do boondock or get into that, that's where it's going to come in handy. We don't have an inverter, which if you have an inverter, you can obviously still run your residential refrigerator on that, but it would suck up your battery a little bit faster. Now, one of the cool things about having the RV freezer and fridge is the fact that when you do lose power, it will just automatically kick over to propane. So that's one factor we don't have to worry about. Now, it may not be quite as pretty as a residential refrigerator and freezer, and not quite as big, but this one is still pretty big. I mean, we still have a lot of room and size in here, as you guys can see. We've had no problems to where really we've ever needed more space. But let's go ahead and show you what we do to defrost it. We have to do it maybe 2-3 times a year. We could probably do it a little bit more than that, but it's got about 1.5 inches buildup on the back wall of ice. Open it up and you guys can see back here, it's getting pretty thick back there. I'll show you a couple tips and tricks that we do to make the process easier. I know some people use hair dryers set on a low setting. Other people just shut it off and leave it open for a while so everything melts. But the process we do, we heard this tip probably on Facebook or somewhere, and we actually put little cheap dollar disposable flimsy cutting boards along the back wall. And what that does is when it comes time to defrost it, all we have to do is go in there, peel those cutting boards off, and all of the big chunks of ice will just come with it. It honestly probably takes about 5-10 minutes to do this way. So give us a second. I'm gonna go ahead and take everything out of here, and usually while I'm doing this, I'll take everything out of the freezer, set it in the fridge, try to keep it as cold as I can while I do it. And you will want to, shut your fridge and freezer off while you do it so the fans aren't trying to blow. But we actually have a pretty cold day right now, so it's holding temperature just fine, and I don't think it's going to even actually try to kick on us. So, okay, let's start doing this. Okay, so we got the freezer emptied out, and you can see what I was talking about here. We have, I think, about 5 cutting boards. They're just these lightweight, little flimsy, cheap plastic cutting boards right here. We put them against that whole back wall, and I'm gonna put a towel down here on the bottom to kind of catch any of the big blocks of ice that are gonna fall off as I pull. And then you also just kind of pull in these shelves and break it up, and it's just gonna come off in a few big, easy chunks, and we're honestly not gonna have to even scrape that much stuff. The only other item I usually use sometimes, I have a little plastic putty knife, and I'll bring that over here just to get some of this stuff off the bottom corners. Shimmy this a little bit. And because we had those plastic cutting boards back there, you can see big chunks of it just stick right to it. You can just take that, peel it off, throw it in your sink, throw it out the door. Let's get this piece off. Nice, big, easy chunks. Without these cutting boards back here, it just wouldn't be that easy to do it. It sticks to the back wall. We found that at the first time we tried to defrost it, but it just makes it way easier doing it like this. It's probably about as bad as we've ever let it go. Usually I don't think it gets this thick, but took maybe 5 minutes if that. Now all that's left back here is just a real thin, just a real thin little sheen of ice just in a few spots. So I am going to take the hairdryer on low just to get those a little bit warm. And I'll just take my little plastic putty knife so I don't damage anything, just kind of knock it loose. It'll fall in the towel. Take the towel, pull it out, and we'll be done. Just use common sense when using these. Don't put it on high, don't hold it in one area too long. Otherwise, it's going to be fine. And while I'm doing this, let me tell you to quick stick around to the end of the video, because I have an easy fix for the refrigerator in case yours isn't cooling properly or doesn't seem to be cooling properly. Something we found out with ours. So stick around to the end of the video and I'll show you how to fix that easy fridge problem. Okay, about 20 seconds later with the hairdryer and a little putty knife, just the last little bit of ice that was on the back wall is gone. That's that. We're going to take this towel, bring it over to the sink. We're going to take it outside, probably shake it out, get all the ice that fell off, and then put the cutting boards back in and the food, and that's it. We'll be done. Okay, everybody, that's that simple process of how to defrost the RV freezer. It is something we want to keep an eye on, check it every once in a while. Obviously, it'll stop running as efficiently if you just kind of let it go. Plus, you eventually run out of room to put food in there. So now I'm just going to go ahead and stick these right back in here. We just put them back there, just push the shelves back up against them. When it comes time to do it again, you'll be golden, you'll be all set. Just another quick video in RV maintenance series that we've been doing. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to put them down below. Or maybe you guys have a better way to defrost your freezer. I'd like to hear about that too. So make sure you check out some of our other videos. We have a few on just basic RV maintenance and stuff that we've been doing for 2 years, tips and tricks and things that we find to work for us and really help out, so make sure to check those out. And as always, we appreciate you stopping by. If you like the video, like it, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. And we will see you next week. And remember, get out there, start full-timing, because why wait? One more thing I wanted to touch base on. After filming yesterday about defrosting the freezer, I thought about something that comes up with these refrigerators a lot. And if you have the Norcold refrigerator like we do, that is runs on propane as well as electric, let me show you this one little thing that can cause an issue with a lot of these refrigerators. People have had this happen with theirs. I had it happen with mine. I would notice that the temperature inside my refrigerator was going up to about 50 degrees. And I really started worrying about what the issue might be and researching this and that, and it turned out to be something pretty simple. So let me go ahead and show you what it is. So on these Norcold refrigerators, when you open this side of the door, there is a flap right here. This side doesn't have it, but as you close the door, the flap hits and it closes up, creating a nice seal in here. Now what happens a lot of times with this style fridge is when you go to close this, the flap won't close all the way and it stays almost like in a position like this. You can see where I can get my finger in there and it won't seal all the way. And you won't even know it. Sometimes it stays like this, just a little bit, and you close the other side and you have no idea. Well, when I close this door, my flap wasn't closed and I could actually feel cool air coming out of here. Now it turns out it's an easy fix. 2 things. So the first thing you need to do is take this side of the door off. It's actually pretty simple. We just remove this plastic, just a little pin in here, and you can just pop this door off real easy. And it just sits down in a little hole right here. But as you can see, what I had to do was there's a couple of washers right here. There's just about 2 washers here. And all you need to do is drop 2 washers on top of this pin, and it's going to raise this door up just enough to where when you open it, it's going to actually catch and hear better. And that was the biggest issue. The door was sitting too low, and every time you closed it, it wasn't catching on this little track, this piece right here, to make that flap close and create a nice tight seal. So once we did that, that pretty much solved the issue. And the only other thing I did was every so often I just take a little oil, just a little vegetable oil, and just put a little vegetable oil, just a thin coating right in here. And you can even put it on the top right in here, and that just makes it close ever so smooth. And that kept our flap closing and kept everything nice and sealed up. I just wanted to touch base on that because I know it was a problem that I was concerned about for a while, and I was thinking the fridge wasn't cooling properly, and I was checking the fans in the back and the fins and all these issues, and it just turns out it was the flap not closing all the way. And I guess it's a common thing because I've seen on quite a few Facebook groups about that, people having issues with that. And I recommended just putting some washers down there to lift it up, and also just oiling that little part. And ever since then, this was about 2 years ago, ever since we did that, I've had no problems with that flap closing, creating a nice tight seal. And that's about it. So anyways, just wanted to quick throw that in there while I was doing this video for you guys.